Good afternoon, Facebook. Dan Lopez here for episode number 8 of Lunch with Local Legends with my very special guest, Dawn Kraus, President of Leadership Seminole. How you doing, Dawn?
Doing good. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having me.
Thank you so much for coming to the office today and being part of the show.
Of course. I'm
Awesome.
happy to.
All
Happy
right.
to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to be president of Leadership Seminole for 2 years. It's been just a fabulous experience, learning more and more than I ever thought I could about the community. Before that, I was a fundraiser for Florida Hospital Foundation for 10 years. So I did many different roles at the hospital. That was a great experience. It really introduced me to community and the importance of that impact that we can make through collaboration. So I think that experience kind of lent itself for me to move into this position at Leadership Seminole.
Outstanding. And how long have you been with Leadership Seminole?
I've been with Leadership 2 years.
2 years now.
But I was a volunteer for 7 years before that.
Outstanding.
Having gone through the program, Class 20.
Class 20. All right.
Really was excited about going through the program, but really didn't understand what it was all about, like how impactful it was going to be.
Okay.
So going through and building amazing relationships, the networking was incredible, and really learning behind the scenes what really happens and the importance of everything in Seminole County was just fabulous for me. It helped me in my role at the hospital when I went through the program, and it's helped me in everything that I do through community as well as my big family. I have 7 children, so that keeps me very busy. So it's always good to incorporate leadership and what you learn in every facet of your life.
Outstanding. Just want to give a quick shout out to Stacy McKay for coming on board. Thank you very much, Stacy. I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. And so it's I'm glad to hear that you were actually a student of Leadership Seminole as about before.
Yes.
Taking on the role as president, and you talk about some of the different advantages. I know I was part of Class 27 last year with Leadership Seminole, and some of the reasons that I joined involved learning more about the community so that I could actually communicate with my customers more effectively, letting them know some of the advantages that Seminole County has to offer. People always talk about networking, and that's usually the first answer when it comes to Leadership Seminole, but that wasn't the reason why I joined necessarily. Can you share a little bit why you might have gotten involved originally?
Well, I as my role in Florida Hospital moved to Seminole County,
Okay.
my responsibilities were over Altamont Hospital. So moving from the Orlando area down to Seminole, it was really important for me to get to know the community, the organizations that are so important to the growth and future in Seminole County. So this was a great way for me to learn. And it's, again, that behind the scenes experience where you get to do things that ordinary people don't get to do or participate in. For example, Healthcare Day, when you get to go into the operating rooms, see what an open heart surgery, what's involved with that, work on the Da Vinci robotic system, things like that were just so cool. And I thought, wow, I am so lucky to have that experience and to see, kind of the innovation that's taking place through healthcare. And then some of the other areas that day, we're talking about the uninsured and underinsured, and what kind of agencies do we have in place to help those who are less fortunate. So Shepherd's Hope and some of the dental clinics and the health department, really getting a full perspective on what it means to work together for a healthy Seminole County.
Outstanding. And that's part of the main reason why I decided to get involved with the program as well. And for that reason, to learn more about everything that the county has to offer. And you're exactly right. Healthcare Day was incredible.
Yeah, it's one of the many fabulous days at Leadership Seminole for sure.
Awesome. Hey, Reese, how you doing, buddy? Reese Stewart just joined us. He is going to be next year's president-elect for the Orlando Regional Realtor Association. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And Leadership Seminole, they're coming up on a milestone.
Yeah, we are thrilled to be celebrating 25 amazing years. So we have a lot going on, being our anniversary year. Kind of reflecting back on the 25 years when we began as a leadership program, a small program that grew and grew to what it is today, but also then adding additional leadership programs through our alumni association, kind of keeping our alumni engaged, listening to what they would like to hear or see develop has been important. And then we also have vision conferences, which really represent what that vision is for Seminole County. And Leadership Seminole has been privileged to be the convener of these conferences and really to help formulate the vision moving forward for the community.
Okay, well, you touched on vision, so let's dive into that a little bit. I assume Leadership Seminole has a mission statement.
We do have a mission statement. So really for us is to be the leading resource for development, for developing, inspiring, and engaging community leaders in order to improve the quality of life in Seminole County. So, it's all about that dialogue, giving stakeholders that dialogue, that conversation piece to actually implement change and action in our community. And I mean, that's what it's about, right? Working together, collaborating together. We have amazing volunteers through Leadership Seminole as well as in the community, and we really need to unite together. That's how we will become better.
Outstanding. And then, so on top of that, then the vision, can you touch on that a little bit? Where do you see this going?
Well, the vision, the hardest thing about the vision is that we want to do so many things, right? We've had 25 amazing years, but looking forward and saying, what do we want that to look like? And I think basically the first most important thing is that we want to continue to be an extraordinary leadership program. We want to make sure that we're current, that we're providing the information that the class members want to hear about in every topic through the program. So I think that is vital because we've been doing a good job and we need to continue along that. But there's always opportunity to add different programming, kind of looking at changes. Or I think one of the biggest things as we're looking ahead, looking at the different generations.
Okay.
What does leadership mean to them? We know millennials aren't exactly interested in sitting on boards. They're very active, very passionate, but they'd rather take action. They want to see immediately where are their dollars going and how can they help immediately.
Okay.
And then you look at other generations coming behind them. What does that look like? We don't know, or I don't know, but it's going to look differently. So we have to really be open to say, we may have to change and evolve to accommodate some of the interests of the younger generation. So I think that's going to be really critical, and really just to make sure that we continue to build on our legacy, to make our impact and our difference.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that millennials aren't necessarily interested in joining boards. Do you see that changing though as they continue to age, get older? Because I know from a real estate perspective, we're starting to see that transition. Millennials are starting to get better paying jobs. They're buying homes. They're starting families. I know with our Realtor Association, we got a very dynamic group of young professionals that are now getting more and more involved with the association. So what are you seeing?
So we're seeing similar things. We really embrace young leaders. We really would like them to be part of our organization. And we are seeing that somewhat in our executive council, which is a very powerful committee under the board of directors who is responsible for our programming and all our alumni events. And so we love young leaders. They bring fresh ideas and a different way of looking at things. So for me, that's important. But then, we may have to start looking at a specific issue or area and just bring in young people to work on something short term. They may just have a passion, they have ideas, bring them in and let's talk about that and see what we can accomplish together, and not necessarily in a structured board environment.
I love it. All right. Well, 25 years now. How did all this get started? Do you know the history?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Good thing I do. I have been so honored to have spent some time with Gloria Picard. She was the founder of Leadership Seminole. I always heard her name and heard some of the information historically, but never had the good fortune of meeting with her. So given 25 years, I thought perfect timing. Let me try to reach out to her and hear her story. So she was a dean at Seminole Community College. It was back then before it became Seminole State College. She was the dean over business and community. And during her time, they sent her through the Leadership Orlando program, which she thoroughly enjoyed. But she said, why doesn't Seminole County have one? we need one in Seminole County. We need a leadership program here. So with that, she had the list of people who've gone through Leadership Orlando, and she reached out to everyone who had a business or a residence in Seminole County and invited them to a meeting. And to her surprise, 50 people showed up.
Wow.
Who had an interest in bringing a similar leadership program to the Seminole community. Wow. So had the meeting, and there was an individual business. And let me just say, some of the people who showed up, they were the hospital's business leaders. They were the various chambers, because back in the day, there was multiple chambers in the area. So they were all represented, as well as the college. AAA was vital to the beginning of Leadership Seminole. So they came together, and a business leader stood up and made the first gift, the seed money to get the program started, and knowing farewell that hopefully everyone will be following suit and make a donation as well. So that is how it originated, through the seed money of the original founding team. They put together a board of directors that Gloria was the president or chair of, and with that seat as on the board of governors, gave you an opportunity to nominate someone. As long as you were on that board of governors, you could nominate someone through the program, which helped with filling the class. So we had the funding taken care of and filling that class, with Seminole Community College was the fiscal agent.
How about that? And it just pretty much took off like gangbusters after that.
It did. And I know a lot of you, I can name drop a little bit. Tina Calderon was in class 1. So I met with her as well. She's still very active in leadership, and she is one of our school board members, as most of you know. So it was really great hearing from her what it was like in class 1, looking forward to where it is today. So lots and lots of changes.
Okay. So what kind of person would be interested in joining this program? I mean, is it for anybody? Is it, well, you tell me.
Well, I think anyone could benefit from going through Leadership Seminole. I think if you're looking to increase your network, I mean, absolutely. If you're a new business that's located in Seminole County and you want to get to meet everyone, Leadership Seminole is the way. So many people in this community have been through our program. It's a great way just to build that network for you, and personally, just to make those friendships. One of the great things is you become very close with your class, but besides that, you become close with other alumni, because just by saying, I'm Dawn Kraus, I was in class 20, and they're like, oh, I was in class, 17 or whatever. And you instantly have that connection. So it helps you in business. You have access to an alumni directory, so that if you're looking for a specific industry, you have access to work with someone who is a fellow alumni. So that's a great benefit. And I just think personally, it helps you grow.
I can personally say that everybody that I've met through the program, whether it's my fellow classmates, or if it was people in some of the after hours events or additional community events, they always have very positive things to say about the program and the experiences, both during it and even afterwards as well.
Right. Well, that's great to hear. I love to hear that. I felt that way, and you did. So we're hoping just to continue that enthusiasm.
Well, tell me a little bit about the program then. How long is it? What steps are
Okay.
involved?
So Leadership Seminole it's a 10-month program, which begins each August. It's a way to come and learn more about your community in depth. There is specific topics each month: healthcare, government, human services, economic development, etc., so that you dive in deep and have that experience each month. So 10 months. So you have the 2-day orientation in August, followed by 1 Friday a month through May. And so it is a 10-month. It's a long program, but everybody seems to really enjoy it. And I think when you get towards the end, people are getting a little sad. They're already worried they're not going to be seeing all their class members on a regular basis anymore. So it's just, I think, a great experience for anyone. I think what's really unique is the graduation. So at the end of May, we have a graduation, and the current class members, I don't think they understand the impact that Leadership Seminole has had in the community. As we're celebrating their graduation, 400 community friends are in attendance, where they're there to celebrate the class. Our leaders currently who are graduating, as well as we honor a leadership legend. So that, I think, is fabulous. This year we are honoring Wendy Brandon for her amazing leadership throughout Seminole County. She has done so much for Leadership Seminole. Central Florida Regional is one of our top sponsors. She has been a board member. She has chaired our vision conference. She's involved with the Seminole Action Board. So there's nothing that Wendy won't do for her community. So I think it's really great that we can honor a legend for the class, for that celebration. And then last, we also honor high school students. So each year we have a high school video contest where we ask the students from all the high schools in Seminole County to work on a video. The past couple of years, it's been based on character, and that's character has been the ideas of the character, what the themes were determined by the Youth Commission, as well as the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Walt Griffin. And so that has been amazing. They've submitted videos, and then we have a private reception for them. And they bring the principal and their teachers and their families, and we look at all the videos and vote on. And we select the top 3, and the winning video then goes to the luncheon with their team, and we show that video. So
I remember that. That was incredible.
Yeah, isn't it great that we can celebrate kids? So we're celebrating the current class, our leaders today. We're celebrating a legend for everything they've done so far in their life in the community, and then our emerging leaders. How wonderful to let kids in high school see what leadership is and what you can gain from being part of something bigger than yourself. So I love the day.
That's incredible. Very cool. What value do you see in participating in the program?
Well, I think there's significant value. Like we mentioned before, personally, I think it helps you grow. It helps you in your job. It opens your eyes to maybe other industry that in your day-to-day job you're not exposed to. And it also allows you to contribute to a legacy project. So each year, the class selects a legacy project, which is a way of giving back to a nonprofit in Seminole County. This year, the class selected Crossroads Corral. So that is a great organization, that you're familiar with that. Yes. So it helps a lot of individuals, PTSD survivors, different people who just need a little assistance through horses, and having that exposure really is helping healing. So we're really happy that they selected that project. The best thing to say is to date, Leadership Seminole has donated over $1.1 million to nonprofit organizations throughout the county, as well as over 16,000 volunteer hours. So we're really blessed that we're able to be part of something so special.
That's incredible. So besides the 10-month program, you touched a little bit on some of the other items that the Leadership Seminole offers to your alumni members.
Yes. Yeah. We, as we said, the beginning of the program, it was specifically based on, making sure that we have a solid program going forward. And then over time, our Alumni Association has grown. And through that, we have other offerings that we provide alumni members. Okay. Beginning with, in the past, we've had Done in a Day, which was a way to go into a nonprofit and to do a service project. For example, we've gone back at Kids House and decorated Kids House for Christmas. We've gone back and done painting and just different things that are needed at some of the buildings and other nonprofits. So those are kind of service-related things that we've done. We've had golf tournaments. We now, that has changed into a bowling tournament. Okay. So we have a wonderful bowling green tournament. Yeah, so you should be there and get your team and dress. It's right around St. Patty's Day. So excellent. You get to dress up in green and just have a fun day with family and your leadership friends. So that's a great day. But then we have some events, coffee and conversation. Right. That's a way to...
I like those, by the way. I like those
do
a lot.
You?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. It's a way to have that one-on-one conversation with a leader in Central Florida, be exposed to someone that maybe you wouldn't be able to hear from, and you have the opportunity to ask one-on-one questions, and they're always so gracious about staying afterwards and answering questions and taking pictures. And so I think that's been a big value to everyone. They've really enjoyed that. And then recently, we've added lessons on leadership. This is a new event this year that came about from alumni who have said, we really would like some kind of continued leadership We're not really leadership training, but just exposing to leadership concepts and bringing people together who can provide information. So our last one, for example, was on culture. So it's a panel discussion, and we bring in people from different areas who could talk about culture. We had someone from the sports profession, someone from big business, small business. What does that look like? And so it's really great to have that perspective, array of different industry, and then have the opportunity to ask questions again. Also with this, alumni, not only are they coming as an alumni, but they can bring 5 members from their team. Right. So we would like to make this a way to bring more information back to organizations, to have them come and hopefully help that be part of their leadership training. And so I think, and plus expose new people to our program, of course. Very cool.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Sherry Torres for coming on board. Thank you so much. And Shane Spring, thank you for coming on board, Shane. Appreciate it. Yeah, your alumni program. To me, I've been involved with 2 other leadership programs through my profession, through my industry, and great. You get a lot of good information, get a lot of good experience out of it. But then when it's over, it's over. You develop relationships; those relationships continue, but there's no more program. To me, that your alumni program makes you very unique. So, thank you. Was that something that has always been around, or?
Well, it's evolved. I mean, I think my predecessors have done a great job at starting some of this, and then we've built on that. I think it's so critical to go through the program, and then a lot of the graduates, they're so excited, but then they're like, now what? Now what do we do? What does that next piece look like? So I think some of these alumni events provide that experience and that continuing networking to get together and continue to grow your network there. And I think it's also an opportunity, as we're looking ahead, that we talked about before, is what other ideas do we have, or what can we do to enhance the experience upon graduation? So, there is some things we're looking at. How do we connect a graduate to potential board service in other organizations, or committee work, or volunteering? Maybe we need to be that liaison and to make that connection. So hopefully we'll be able to make that connection soon.
Very cool. And I guess it also adds value to the program as well.
Yeah, it adds value to us, but it also does to other nonprofits in the community, because it's hard sometimes doing that board recruitment or committee recruitment. How do we get people interested? How do we know who has the interest?
Right.
So one of the things that we say in our program on day 1 to the new class is, what will your legacy be? It is so critical to just get that ingrained in the conversation internally, so that they can kind of figure it out as they're going through each day, whether it's human services or education day. How do you want to make your impact and your own personal difference? And it is our hope that people are inspired and that they find that passion and that they want to improve their community through an experience they had at Leadership Seminole.
Wonderful. Tell me about the Vision Conferences.
Wow. Well, the Vision Conferences, this has been something that's been truly amazing historically for Leadership Seminole. It came about back in the mid-90s when there's a conversation going on through the community of what is that vision of Seminole County? What does that look like? And who is responsible for getting that started, convening the group? Well, Leadership Seminole stood up and said, we will convene people together, business leaders, stakeholders, and begin those conversations. So I think the first Vision Conference, was in 1996. Wow. It was 1995 or 6. I apologize. I think it was 6, where we invited stakeholders to come together. And initially, what happened is people came up with a long list of things that they wanted to discuss. And so at that conference, they would then get committees together afterwards and work on those ideas. And they may not get down to the bottom of the list, but a year or 2 later, they get together again and say, okay, what have we accomplished? Let's hear what those results were. And what else do we need to work on? And so that kind of was a list. And a lot of amazing things came out of those conferences. For example, the Youth Commission, that came about through one of our Vision Conferences, where, the high schools, leadership at the school, and the student leadership get together and kind of put together programs and see, what do they need to have? What kind of conversations do they need to have? So that is great. And also mayors and managers. There is a meeting that came out of that. We're saying there needs to be better communication between, the city managers, the mayors, what does that look like? And that came out from one of those conferences. So there's many more things that they've worked on, tourism and transportation and a lot of different things. As the conferences have evolved, it's kind of became more defined. So I think the Vision 4 conference was economic development. So that was the priority that was decided that they wanted to work on. And so economic development put together a group, and they really worked on how do we look at bringing companies to Seminole County. What does that look like? What can we do together? Again, that collaboration. And so I think when you look at companies like Deloitte and Verizon and some of those, I think some of these
an amazing
successes, they came from leaders who began those discussions a long time ago. We can't take credit for having these companies there, but it was that beginning discussion on let's work together to bring that to the community. So, and then finally, our last Vision Conference was in 2014, and we had over, I want to say 120 stakeholders together. I remember being at the zoo and everyone had their voting buttons, but it was a whole day of visiting different tables, learning about tourism, learning about education, economic development, healthcare. What are the priorities? And you really were exposed. We had subject matter experts at each table who would really tell you where we are in Central Florida, what we need to work on. And then at the end of the day, everyone had their voting buttons and voted. And homelessness was recognized as the top priority that we wanted to work together at reducing our homeless population in Seminole County. It was in the fall of 2014.
Okay. And there's been significant strides that have taken place in the homelessness issue since then.
Right.
As well.
So, it was something uniquely identified then for us, but it was a trend happening throughout the country. And it happened to coincide with Florida Hospital made a $6 million donation not too long after that to help with the homelessness initiative. And so, the hospital was trying, all the cities were working together.
Right.
And so with that new HUD initiative of Housing First, it was a great way to bring everyone together and try to find ways to work together. So from that, Leadership Seminole was the convener, but then it kind of became more organized with, there was a strategic task force that was created that came up with an action strategy. And then it was brought to the county commission through a grant to say, would you accept this? Is this something you would, or maybe just recognize and work through? So they did that. The next step was a Seminole Action Board. So a board was created with John Hillemeyer and Wendy Brandon co-chairing. And so today that is in place, and they have been able to reduce homelessness, chronic homelessness and family homelessness so much in the community, and they're continuing to work very hard. So it's really a tribute to the community, to all our volunteers. There is some conversation about the next Vision Conference, but homelessness is such a big undertaking, and so that has been something worked on and will continue to be, of course, something that will need attention. But
it's very interesting. I just learned something because our state association, Florida Realtors, took on, we started focusing on the homelessness situation maybe around the same time. And so the timing just seemed perfect because basically communities throughout the entire state of Florida started working together and trying to see what we can do to communicate more effectively, more efficiently to help the problem. And like I said earlier, we made some incredible strides. So kudos. I mean,
to everyone,
I
right?
didn't realize Leadership Seminole was such an integral part of that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think there's so many community groups, churches, and like your organization that are trying to help affordable housing is the issue, trying to be able to, find housing, and with Housing First, making sure that we find the affordable housing for families or the chronically homeless, and then make sure we have case management to back that up. So we know that just finding a home isn't gonna be enough.
Right.
That they need to have that support in order to thrive and to continue to be successful and stay housed effectively. So it's all exciting. It's a lot of work. It's ongoing, and all we can do is hope to, do our part and hopefully help on to reduce the homeless population.
Wow. See why I was so excited about having Dawn on here today. She's just a wealth of information. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Give a quick shout out to Lisa Cather. Thank you for coming on board, Lisa. Good to see you. So what's next? What's coming up?
Oh my gosh.
Some community events coming
up. So, the time between January and May are probably the busiest time for Leadership Seminole. In January, we have our 4th annual Leadership Summit. And this came about 4 years ago with thinking of an event that we can invite alumni who haven't been engaged with the program in a long time. And maybe they can get just a little bit of snippets to see, what the program is like today and just kind of learn a little bit about what's going on. Well, it has evolved. It has become one of our premier events. And I am so excited. This year, it's called A Leader's Story, how to communicate effectively. And I think a leader's story, it's like 25 years. So we're talking about our story also. Leadership Seminole is going to share that.
25 years, might as well.
25 years. It's a perfect time to tell our story. But we're going to look at communication because we know how important that is in everything that we do. So we're starting off with Sarah Brady, who is going to share communicating through crisis. Marty Sald is our moderator for the day.
Nice.
So we're really fortunate to have her. Sarah Brady has been amazing in the community and throughout Florida, sharing being able to help organizations who are going through a critical crisis and how they can manage and navigate through that. So we're excited to have her. We are going to be having our lovely sheriff, Dennis Lima, and Superintendent Walt Griffin, as well as CEO Tim Cook at Advent Health, soon to be Advent Health, who are going to be there and talk about what happens when you need to communicate something that's going on that's very important. Their PIOs will be there, the private information officers, who will be there to share what is going on, where does the information come from, how does it get communicated to them, and then how does it go out to the public. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And let's see who's next. There's so many. Oh, we have Stan Van Gundy coming, and he's going to talk about communicating in the athletic world. We know he was an amazing coach here for Orlando Magic for many years, went to Detroit, and now he's an analyst at ESPN. So we're thrilled that he is going to be here with us for the event. It's actually, I didn't give you the date. The date is January 25th, which our 25th anniversary, so it's really easy to remember. And
make note of that right
yeah,
now.
there you go.
25th.
Get your ticket. And then we have Tadar Muhammad, who's going to be leading through character, communicating through character. He is someone that I met that is very impactful. He works in Washington, D.C. at HBI, which is Home Builder Institute, and their mission is to help find employment for young individuals through the construction industry. So he has been doing that for many years. But he lives here locally in Orlando. Him and his wife, who is a school teacher in Orlando, have their own nonprofit, and they're working to help those at-risk individuals who maybe don't have that path, and trying to work towards getting them to understand that they do have options and help them along the way. So he's just very, very excited, and it's someone who doesn't just talk the talk. He's walking the walk, making that difference. So I think we'll really enjoy hearing from him. And then we have two more speakers. Isn't this amazing already to hear all this? So then we have a magician who, I don't know if you heard, Kazia Kimlet is a magician who does a lot of speaking on the magic of business, personality magic, how that plays into your job, your business, and he's very engaging. So we're going to have that big participation within the audience. And then finally, really excited to say we have one of the members of the band Journey who's going to be there. His name is Jonathan Kane. And I think we're going to do some singing. I'm just saying. I think it's going to be exciting.
Can you not sing the Journey?
Right. Well, he wrote the lyrics to "Don't Stop Believing"
Nice.
and some other songs. So we will have a keyboard there. That was his instrument. So I think we're just going to wrap up with just a fabulous day. So if anyone is interested in attending, a little plug, just go to leadershipseminole.org, go to our events page, and you can register. The month of December, there's an early bird special. So get your tickets.
Wonderful. And I will put a link on here later on so that you'll be able to connect directly to it as well.
Thank you.
So what's your favorite part of Leadership Seminole?
My favorite part,
there's so many moving parts. I mean,
there
it's
is
probably
so
hard
many,
to figure out a favorite, right?
but I love I love everything. I love everything that we're doing. I think my favorite is watching the current class go through the program and see their faces and the excitement and the wow moments when they can't believe this is actually going on. There's so many people who have lived in Seminole County or worked in Seminole County, but said, I had no idea that this is something that we had here.
Right.
And I can give an example. Sheriff Limo was someone who went through the class many years ago, and he was a captain at the time. And he said what he learned then, he said he thought he knew everything being a captain at the sheriff's office, but going through the program prepared him for his job today. So, I mean, that is pretty huge.
Yes.
That, when you have someone at his level who could say it was a benefit for him. So that's pretty special to hear that and to see what people are learning. I think that's exciting for me.
Do you have a favorite day of the program?
No, you're putting me on the spot here, right? I don't know. I love all the days. They all have so much value. I guess I'm probably slightly partial to law and justice, believe it or not, because one of my degrees is criminal justice.
About that, okay.
And so, I get to see some of the things that back in my earlier career that I used to participate in. So I'm kind of excited about that. But each month is great. And there's so much just to learn and to be proud of, to say, I live here. This is my community, and we are doing this. And so that's the exciting part.
On Law and Justice Day, they make you get tased.
No, they don't. No, it's volunteer. You could not pay me enough to get tased, but there are many volunteers who do enjoy that experience.
Right.
At least they thought they would until it actually takes place. So.
Actually, I so wanted to get tased on that day, but I threw my back out about a month before
Sure. That's what they all say. Yeah.
But those who did, they seem to really enjoy it, I guess. What's your favorite success story and from Leadership Summit?
Success story. Well, I think every month we are celebrating successful days, and so that is a good feeling. But I would have to say that this last vision conference with homelessness, to be able to take part in that, I still sit on the Seminole Action Board as a representative of Leadership Seminole, and to see the work that's being done, the passion from those that are involved, not only those on the board, but all the nonprofits, the government entities, everyone working closely with the with Seminole government. I mean, it's pretty amazing that everyone is working together, and that's what's special about Seminole County. When you look at the different cities, when you look at the fire rescue, everyone works collaboratively. And there's just this unique feeling. The sheriff's office, they can tell you the same thing. The schools and the sheriff work closely. Everyone is working together. And I think that's what makes it so special here in Seminole County.
That is definitely something that as you're going through the program and you get to do the Law and Justice Day, and I was kidding around about everybody getting tased. You can get tased if you want to, but you also get to go through a fire simulation as you go through the fire department. That was intense and really eye-opening. As you're going through that, you can't see your hand in front of your face. And just to think that these professionals are out there trained and they know what to do in such a situation, a life and death situation, and how they can make it work. It's eye-opening. It's something I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another special day, we just had Education Day.
Yeah.
And I think what is always so interesting to watch our class members see how education has changed. So we visit the high schools, the middle schools, the elementary schools, and you see how learning has changed. How the kindergartners are doing coding, how, you look at the ways people are learning, and they're so, we think back of what we did in kindergarten versus what they're doing today, and then looking forward to all the grades and just all the offerings, and how also they're working together with, Dr. Walt Griffin is working with Seminole State College and then UCF to kind of talk about what is needed, as far as what do we need to be teaching in order to keep the graduates in our community and to keep growing and providing those job opportunities for them. So it's collaboration. Again, that's my key word here, is just really fascinating to watch the process and to see that learning.
With our class, you actually recognized a couple of teachers. That was it, like Teachers of the Year? Or?
Yeah. So each year we now have Teachers of the Year who come and share at the different levels why they're Teacher of the Year, what excites them.
Yeah.
And so that was really special to do that this year as well.
That was really an awesome experience. great job on putting that on.
Thank you.
All right, so quick shout out to Richard Henry for joining and Anthony Garcia. Thank you very much for coming on board. I'm going to ask you one final question, Dawn, and kind of putting you on the spot here. So, after being involved in this for as long as you have, which class is your favorite class?
Which class?
Which class?
Well,
now I'm class 27.
Okay.
Just want to put that out there again.
So that's a given. We won't mention that one, right? Well, I mean, they're all special in their own right, but I would probably have to say class 20 because
that was your class.
That's my class, and that's what introduced me to Leadership Seminole.
That's a very good answer.
And excited me about volunteering afterwards.
Very nice.
And so I got involved with many nonprofits afterwards, as well as staying involved with Leadership Seminole. And then who knew that today it would evolve into me having the honor of running the organization. So a pretty special time for me.
I think you're doing an incredible job, and thank you so much for coming on here today to tell us more about it. So if anybody wants to get involved with the program, whether it's participating or even looking to get involved in leadership, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, they can just look on our website. Like you're going to put that link on there.
LeadershipSeminole.org.
Yeah, leadershipseminole.org. My contact information is on the website. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one about the program, answer any questions you have. We have a wait list. We already are receiving applications for next August.
Wow.
So if you have a serious interest, please reach out to me because January it really starts filling up. But we'd love to have new people. I'm excited about it. I want to share my excitement with you. So please let me know if you'd like to get together.
Do it sooner rather than later.
Correct.
Well, thank you very much again, Don. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody who came on board. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions about Leadership Seminole, or even if you want to be a future guest here on Lunch with Local Legends. Have a great day.